applying for this facility. We are situated at 51 Albany Road, Hornchurch. The postcode is RM12 4AE. Telephone 079 0479 3019 or email us pastorjoeka@yahoo.com. Get financial support and acquire a degree. Are you looking for a job as a general nurse, theater nurse, ODPS, community nurse, healthcare assistant, mental health nurses, midwives, sterile services, domiciliary services? Then look no further. Bright Stars Plus Healthcare Agency have vacancies with good pay rates in London, Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire, Cambridge, South England, West Midlands, Sussex, and North of England. To apply, visit www.brightstarplus.com or you can call us on 073 890 64632. The number again, 073 890 64632 or email info@brightstarplus.com. Bright Star Plus, the best in recruitment agency.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, and welcome again to Straight Talk with Lady Day. And today I will be speaking on the topic domestic violence against men. And as I said earlier, I'll be explaining what is domestic violence, what are the signs of domestic violence, what are these, what causes it, and also the amount of statistics that are out there about domestic violence, and also where you can go for help about this type of violence against men. So it's not only women that does go through these things. There are men also that experience domestic violence, and most times it's even unheard of, because a lot of men do suffer in silence when their wives or their girlfriends or their partners do come across have been very domineering in relationships, or they are the ones that wear the trouser in the relationship. And then when you see these people outside, everything just seems hunky-dory. Everyone just pretended that they're okay, but underneath there is more to it. And it's just so bad, because you always would think, oh, there's women that's undergoing this, but there are a lot of men, but they don't speak up. Because imagine a man's gonna speak out and say, oh, my wife or my girlfriend is beating me up. When you think of that, if he used to say that to his friends, or to even people who is close to, who he think he could trust, it may feel, or he may come across as being weak, as being a wimp. Wherein in today's world, when we think of men to be macho, to be strong, so you wouldn't find men really speaking out about the things that this been abuse that's been happening to them, and because of that, it affects them as well psychologically, all sorts of way. So let us just know that it's just not only women it happens to, it does happen to men. And funnily enough, today I spoke to someone who's been going through that for years with his wife. And last week I've actually met someone as well who been going through this with his wife, and these are like married couples. And when you think of, oh, where do they go? And then it so happened now that they're cops, the police is involved, because it goes very deep. Because when women tell lies on men, and especially when you think of a country wherein they give women more rights than men, because women think yes, they can go and tell lies or say something against the men, and then most of the time, the law would probably believe them, and then they're taking out a sanction or something against these men, and the men are the innocent ones here, the victims in most of these cases. So it's not good. It's not good at all. It does happen, to men as well. So let us, yeah, just go into this now. So when you think of domestic violence, what is domestic violence? Domestic violence can be defined or include any threatening, abusive, or violent behavior in the home, including between children, adult, or children and other adult family members. However, most people use the term to mean that this behavior is used by one intimate partner to establish power or control over the other partner through fear or intimidation. Dating or relationships violence means that this behavior is directed by one person towards another in a dating relationship. So it is not just in a dating relationship, it could also be in a family setting wherein one shows much more power of abusing the other in that type of relationship. Could be mother-daughter relationship, could be father-son, father-daughter. So in any type of family setting, and also in the relationship of dating or marriage. So what types of domestic abuse there are? You've got physical abuse. Physical, being kicked, being punched, pinched, slapped, choked, or bitten. Use or threats of usage of weapons like knives and irons. Imagine a partner using the knife to stab the other part, the woman using the knife to stab the man. And yes, it does happen. I've known of incident actually wherein a woman actually always use a knife to stab her partner, and she said she would stab him on the hand, not anywhere in his face. So she knows what she's doing. So because she knows he's a very humble person, she'd use the knife to stab him, and then she would, when she stabs him, then obviously blood would come and he wouldn't do anything about it. So she overpowers him like that. So you can use the knives or irons or sculpted sharpers, anything to cause injury to the person. Just imagine how what kind of person would do that. And being scalded or even poisoned. You've got women cooking up a nice meal for their partner or for the child or for your husband or whoever, and put poison or something in the food to control that man or to do something. So all those type of things is abuse. Objects being thrown or flung at the person. Violence against members or members' pets, so members of the family. So the next thing one is isolation. Just imagine being isolated, limiting outside involvement such as family, friends, works, or colleague. So you only have limited access to people who you are your peers. Could be your family members or could be work. So for example, the woman saying to the man, oh, you finish work at this time, so by this time you're meant to be at home, or you're not allowed to go maybe with drinks with your friends, or to just controlling behavior or just being isolated. So when this is happening, so no one notices, it's just that the person being isolated. So they keep the partners away from not being mixing or communicating too much or having too much friends in the close circle. So just keep the person very isolated, if you can understand what I'm saying here. Not allowing any activity outside the home that does not include him or her. So again, it can go both ways. I mean, why do you want to restrict somebody? You're controlling the person. Oh, where are you going? Are you going to the gym, or are you going for a drink with your friends? Why? There are people so manipulative, so controlling. So those behavior is not right. So when that is happening to you or someone around you, you must understand that that's violence. It's violence behavior. Our constant checking up on your whereabouts. Someone always ringing you, where are you, checking on you, what are you doing? They just manipulate, just want to know what is it you're doing, just always at you. It's like just want to control you. So you have to be wary when you see those signals. It is abuse. It is violence. The next type of domestic violence is verbal abuse. So someone can abuse you verbally by speaking very bad things to you, constantly yelling and shouting, putting you down, making you feel worthless, verbal humiliation, either in private or in company. And especially those ones wherein they do it outside as well. It is so bad, constantly being laughed at and being made fun of, or blaming you for their own failures or their own faults. So they always blaming you, putting you, saying that, playing the blame game. Whatever is happening to them, they're blaming you for causing that to happening to them, which is really bad. The other one for domestic violence that you can recognize is threatening behavior. Have you ever been threatened before? Someone's threatening you and telling you, oh, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen to you. The threat of violence, coming to you with violence. The threat of using of weapons, including knives and irons. The threat of use of violence against family members or even pets. Threat to use extended family members to attack. So there are people who say, oh, I'm going to tell your family about you, or they would use a member of your family to attack you by coming to you in a very bullying way, wherein the person tried to put you down, trying to just say things against you, really, and to your person, coming in your space, threatening, destroying, your personal items, destroying the things that's personal to you, threatening you to the police that you are the person committing the assault. As I said earlier, this person, the wife, been threatening, I've been abusing him for years. And I'm thinking, why do you sit down in such a relationship or having that type of person around you threatening and speaking down to you? Why do you allow it? Why? And then it really pushes the person now to even be sectioned off, because it reaches a boiling point wherein it loses the home, the wife taking over everything. How did it get out of hand? So when these things are happening, you have to realize that these behaviors are not right at all, because there are people, or women, do put violence on men, do all these things to put them down, and then trying to play the blame game and saying to the police, oh, he hits me, and the poor, the man doesn't lift a pin at all. It's just really bad. So let's see who's in line here. Oh, hi Eric, thank you for joining in. Hi Pastor Jennifer, thank you for joining in. Hi Angela, thank you. Hi Efri from Jamaica, thank you for joining in. And Innocent, thank you as well. Jennifer says most domestic violence stem from the inability to control anger. It's very deep-rooted issue. Many of the violent behavior is learned, whereby they have witnessed this action in their childhood. The more passive partner wants to total control the action of the other, movements, behavior, whom they speak to, etc. That is true, and most of it, as you said, Jennifer, it is stem from things that they have picked up, things that happen in their childhood. Perhaps they themselves been a victim of abuse, of violence, have been their parent, domestic violence, wherein a home environment that they grew up in, and then that's really affect them, and it really wasn't dealt with. They did not get counseling on it. it doesn't nothing was being done, and then they grew up as being adult now, where they take it on in their adult life into adult life, and even in their marriages. Come on. So a lot of people, if you are being abused, you experience domestic violence, any type of this abuse, you do need to get treatment for it. You don't just sort of let it go. If something has happened to you when you was younger and nothing was been done, but it still plays in your mind, it's not gone away. It's there, and it comes up so often. Maybe something can just trigger it off, because this deep-rooted anger, it needs to be dealt with. It needs to be dealt, because you need to free yourself, so that you don't go on, and abusing another person. And thank you, Innocent. Also, you said I'm proud of you. Thank you very much. So Jennifer says insecurity is another oh yes, insecurity is another factor. That's very important. That's a very strong factor. Insecurity. The person have lack of their own self-esteem, wanting to appear greater in other people's eye. That is so true. So when someone having insecure is insecure within themselves, they always try to let other people feel belittle, and for other people to see them greater, as I said, in their eyes. That is so true. So these are some of the things that cause people to have domestic violence, and the abuse just go on and affecting people. So it needs to be dealt with. It's very bad. So signs of domestic violence. So we're going to look into some signs. So signs of domestic violence. So one of them here is the woman. This is, I'm talking about, the topic today is about men. So it can also be with women, but today we're just focusing on men. So with the woman, she's jealous. At first you thought it was kind of sweet how she got jealous of other women, but it became progressively worse. Now it's not just other women she gets jealous of. She hates you spending time with or talking to friends. She gets jealous of you speaking to your family members. Wow. Imagine speaking to your own family member. She might even get jealous of your children if you have them, especially if they are from a previous relationship. This is how abusers cut you off from your support network. Wow. So for all the men that are listening there online, be careful of these signs. When you see a woman that's very jealous, she's trying to control you, she's trying to make you, she's just jealous of you talking to other women, talking to even members of your family, and she's even jealous of you having that relationship with your children, especially if you have children from a previous relationship. So it is very important that you do watch these signs, because if you're going in a relationship with a woman and she doesn't love you or love your children the way how she loves you, that would make you wonder, is that really love? Is that true love? So be careful. What is it she's after? Is she really after you? So really look into these things, this jealousy sign. Okay. The next thing, she may put you down. She started off so loving, but when you think about that woman, you barely recognize the person you're with now. She's hypercritical, seemingly putting you down for everything you do. Every small thing that goes wrong, it's your fault, regardless of whether or not you had anything to do with it or not. You feel like you need to tread carefully and be on your best behavior at all times to avoid her flying off the handle. Even then, she belittles you constantly and makes you feel worthless. So imagine if you're in a relationship and your partner constantly, always just putting you down. Watch that sign. it's a sign that is not very good. As if you're just so carefully watching how you're treading, how you're walking, even the things that you want to talk about, you're thinking, oh, should I say it? You're just treading very carefully, because she always put you down as soon as you open your mouth to say anything. So if you're in that situation, recognize it, call it what it is, and then you need to get out of it, or you need to seek help. You need to seek even help for that person, the abuser. Because most times, as I said earlier, and even as one of my guests there said online, said, my viewer said, sometimes it's underlying behaviors, and these are like something rooted deep. It's rooted deep from their childhood that was not dealt with. And when you're starting a relationship, you're not asking, you don't explore, you don't ask the question, have you ever been abused? Do you? No, most people don't when they start a relationship. You just plunge in by, just do natural things, but go deep into things to feel the person out and ask question, have you ever been abused? Because those things, underlying hurt and pain, it will come out. They need to vent it out, and if it's not dealt with, if the person is not healed, then you're gonna get the end of the stick. And if you're a person, you're married right now and you're listening, and your partner, all these things that is happening to you, then it is time that you may have to get seek help, for that partner. And the men that are listening also, it is time that you may need to seek help to take with your partner, and the both of you to get help and see how you can salvage this situation. The other sign of domestic violence is you feel isolated. Since she hates you spending time with your friends and family, you've lost contact with most of your support network. You don't feel like love, or like you have anyone to turn to, or like people will understand you. So what these abusers do is that they cut you off from people that are very close to you, the people that are very dear to you, your friends, your family, and as I mentioned earlier, even your children. So your support network that are very close to you, they cut it off, and then you feel isolated. So if you're in a situation like that, you're gonna continue be living like that. That's not healthy. That's not healthy. It's time that you need to do something about it. It's time that you get help, and we'll explore that later on. Next one, you feel alone. She controls your money. That is very deep. Money. And in relationships, money is always a problem. Money, when it comes to money in a relationship, is always a problem. So even before, even like say go deeper in a relationship before it gets to marriage, you should discuss finance. These things should be discussed, so your partner may control all of your finances and make you account for every penny you spend. Any major financial decisions are taken by her. You have no privacy. You might suspect she's reading your emails, texts, your posts, or Facebook messages. So she may even open, if you're living together or cohabiting, she may even open your letters. So even letters may come, she may open it and read it and then chuck it in the bin and pretending there was no mail, that comes in. She might have demanded you give her all of your passwords, or even hacked you. If you try to change your password, she gets upset and accuses you of hiding something. You don't feel like you have any personal space. My God, imagine all of this that is happening. How did you get out of control like this for her to be in control of your finance? I mean, come on, the man should be the head. As the Bible says, God is the head of the church, so the man should be the head. As God is the head of the church and man is the head of the home. Do you understand? When did you allow all this to happen? Something has gone wrong. Something has gone wrong. So she's controlling all of this, all of these things. and putting you down. You don't feel no longer like a real man. It's time to take action. Time to take action. So imagine you having your passwords in your Facebook, on your phone, with your WhatsApp, your messages, your emails. Come on, what is that? And she want to control you? Come on. And you still, how can you live like that? And now there's even apps that they can download. People can download apps that hacks your messages without not even using your phone. There's people that goes into the they buy the apps and they upload the apps and they can read your messages. So imagine if they go to that extent. The woman may go to that extent to do that. You have to watch those signs and you have to understand what it is. It is abusive. That is very abusive. Next one, she emotionally blackmails you. She might threaten to kill herself if you leave, as a way of blackmailing you into staying. You know, or even she can even go into panic attack. You know, there are women who pretend so well. I've had friends wherein their partner go into panic attack if they're gonna leave the house. They're just pretending like they're freaking out. They're pretending that they're fainting. They even go on the floor and pretending that they pass out. How? Listen, women are so, oh my God, smart men. Do you understand? So you have to know that women are very smart species. We are. So if you're in the relationship and these things are happening to you, you have to understand that you're in for trouble. And there could be, how can you be happy in a situation like that? Come on. Imagine she emotionally blackmail you. So if you're gonna go out, you start to act up, pretend, trying to hold you, trying to constrain you from going out, from doing stuff. That is not healthy, is it? Not healthy at all. And then she'll go to the extent of trying to, by saying she will kill herself. Come on. Don't let any woman abuse you and control you and blackmail you and say that, oh, she's gonna kill herself. Come on. Is that real? And then you're falling for it. Why? You're falling for it. Are you so in love with her? Does that make sense? Why would you want to kill yourself? That doesn't make sense. She's a control freak. Run. Get out. Seek help. And most times when some women want to have their ways, yes, they get like that, control freaks. And you have to recognize that. And most times there are other things that are operating underneath. So you need to recognize that, you men out there, okay? Next one, she sexually abuses you. This may be more subtle than you realize. For example, you may feel pressured into having sex. If you say don't, or if you said you're not in the mood or you don't want to, she sulks or becomes very aggressive. She may also coerce you into performing sex acts you don't feel comfortable with. Yes, that happens. Yes. There are men that I know that it happens to. Yes, it just happens. So it's not only women it happens to. Men does that too. I mean, women does that too as well to men. Forcing themselves, even try to rape the men or even rape the men. There are a lot of men who even living today as grown-ups, they're being raped by women. And if you're an adult now and there's an adult lady, while you're in a relationship and she's always like that, what is that you're in? Are you happy? What are you doing about it? Self-examination now. What are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? So these are very important that you look into these things and recognize what they are, and call it what it is. It is abuse. It is abuse. You know, you might worry that people will see you as, stereotypical or handpicked partner. Here are the early signs you're in abusive relationship. Yes, abusive relationship. So if you just started it on, you seen all these signs and things that I spoke about, it's time for you to run and just close it. But if you're married, you have to, that's very deep. So you're in it, so you have to solve it, because you there are things that you probably did not even explore before. And that's why I always think marriage, it is not just the hunt, getting married, all the nice things is when you live with the person and then the real deal is happening. Because there's a saying goes, see me and come live with me are two different things. Some people may seem very nice outside and hunky dory, everything's going nice, but deep down they have a lot of hurt. They have a lot of things that is happening inside them. And those are things you need to know before you go into relationships with women. Men, you need to ask questions to these women. Have you been abused? Have you, there are women who's been abused by their father, by their uncles, by relatives when they're growing up. They were even raped by strangers, by neighbors, and these things pent up in them. They did not get counseling, they did not get healing, and when they become adult, they bring all these things, if it's not dealt with, into the marriage. And then there's time now wherein they try to control. Do you understand? So you have to know these things if it's not dealt with. Do you understand? And how they get to deal with it? By seeing professionals. As I said, I will talk about that later. It does not make you a weak person. In fact, the reality is that it takes great strength to stay in a controlling and unhappy relationship, because you hope your partner might still change, or for the sake of your children. However, it also takes strength to admit that you are in an abusive relationship and that you may need help. Exactly. It's not going to be easy for you, because you may be thinking, oh, am I going to get out of it? Oh, I'm married to her. Oh, the children. Oh, how people going to see me? But you have to think about your head, your mind. You're losing your self-worth. Even deep down as a man, it's scarring you. And you really need to realize what it is. And you may be thinking, oh, how are people going to look at you? But you have to think about yourself. There are things that you can do privately. You can seek help privately without anyone knowing. Is it that you may have to just break away from this, if you're married, and leave it for a while to sort out your mind, so the person come around? What is it? This is very serious. And sometimes you see some men out there, they just seem so very unhappy, and they're happy, but then sometimes they're deep down because there's some things eating them out. They're not happy at home because the women are controlling freaks. The women are the one that wear the trouser. Why do you allow the woman to wear the trouser in the relationship? Why do you allow the woman to control you? Do you love her so much? Then if you love someone, why do you allow the person to hurt you? Love doesn't hurt. I don't think so. No. Why? That is very thought-provoking and for you to think about. So there are statistics about domestic violence against men, actually. Yes, there are a lot of, statistics about it. And also you can know how to deal with these violent issues. So the facts: for every 3 victims of domestic abuse, 2 will be female and 1 will be male. So it's not only female, they're male as well. So for every report of an abuse, say for every time there's a report, so it's always be maybe the woman more than men, but at least there's always going to be 1 man. So you have to understand that, and you have to know. that maybe you could be in that number, and even though you have not acknowledged it, you may not want to claim it, you may not want to own up to it. Yes, it is happening to you, and you have to know that you are in that, and you have to think within yourself, enough is enough, and you have to do something about it. So in 2014 to 2015, 2.8% of men, around 500,000, that is equivalent of 2.8% of the population, experience partner abuse. So either they're in marital or coercing or living cohabiting relationship, they have experienced, 500,000 of them have experienced that. Around 29% of male victims will keep their abuse secret. How sad. Around 29%. So there are men, even could be, people that you and I know. As I said, even today, I was speaking to someone. He's now taken away from the home. His wife abused him, beat him, hit him so much, till she even gone now and defrauded him of the home. Can you imagine? Of their bank account. She's gone in and rinsed and take all his name. There were like 2-3 accounts. She take everything out. And he's been living with that. And he put up with her and thinking she's going to change. And didn't do anything about it. Come on, these things are real. One day, she's going to push the button and say, listen, I want a divorce. I'm getting out. And then what's going to happen? Now, he ended up in a mental hospital. Because they think he was mental. Because he was going like, his mind was gone. He could not believe it. So yes, it happens. It does happen. Only 10% of male victims tell the police. So women are more prone to report these assaults or abuse. So men don't really do that. Just 10% of them do. Someone in an official position, and only 11% will tell a health professional. So most times men kept it under the carpet. They hide it. This means male victims are more than twice as likely as women, which is 12%, to keep the abuse to themselves. On average, men live with the abuser for 2.5 years before seeking help. And this source is from Mankind. So just imagine this. A lot of it is not been dealt with. It's not been reported at all, because of how the man may feel, and how he may look, how he may look across to people, or how people may look at him. So it's just really, really not good. So how to deal with domestic violence? How do we deal with it? Number one, don't take the blame. You have to realize that the abuser always try to blame you, always the things that I've mentioned before, trying to put you down, trying to belittle you, trying to make you feel worthless, and blaming you for things. So the first thing, how to deal with it, don't accept the blame. You need to stand up. You may not be sure whether you are the victim or the abuser, because the abuser may come across. It's common for survivors of domestic violence to act out verbally or physically against the abuser, yelling, pushing, or hitting him or her during their conflicts. The abuser may use such incidents to manipulate you, describing them as a proof that you are the abusive partner. And I've come across that before, wherein they manipulate the man, and the woman manipulate the man. They push the man to anger, do things, and box him, hit him. Yes. And then actually up in his face and then tries, to get him so angry. It's just for him to say, just push him, push her away and say, come out of my space. Leave me alone. And then when he puts his hand on her, then she turns it around and says, oh, you're abusing me. How evil! How evil can you be? Very manipulative some of these women are. And men, you have to recognize it for what it is. As I said, if you are in such a relationship or marriage, you have to understand and claim it as it is and do something about it. You may have developed unhealthy behaviors. Many survivors do. That doesn't mean you are at fault for the abuse. If you're having trouble identifying what is happening, take a step back and look at large patterns in the relationship. So draw back and try to assess it now and see how did it happen. Try to go back from many years or how it started and the signs, the red flags that you see but you didn't do anything about it, because there's always red flags when things like these are happening, but sometimes we tend to push them underneath the table. So when a woman is acting up and throwing tantrums and going on, just think back, when did it all start but you didn't do anything about it? She just used her charm or whatever it is to get you hooked, and you did not realize that you were pulled in. And the person is violent. She's an abuser. So try and analyze the situation. Try and think back. When did it all started? How did you allow it? How did you treat it? You didn't do anything about it over time. Because maybe when she was acting up and trying to throw tantrums, then after that she apologizes. And also too with men as well. So you have to realize and think back and know that there were signs that were showing but you didn't do anything about it. Then review the signs of the domestic violence that has happened. In an abusive relationship, the person who routinely uses these behaviors is the abuser. The person on the receiving end is the abused one. So when you think back and see how she behaved or he behaved, then you know that definitely this person is abusing you. However way, emotionally, as I talked about it earlier, physically, mentally, psychology, how did they can use other things, they could use words, however way. The things that they say, the things that they do, they abuse you physically, emotionally, whatever way. Yes. But you did recognize that. You probably say, oh, did she say that? Or did she actually flung something at me? And then it started to happen over and over again. Yes, she is an abuser. Even if you're still not sure, seek help. Intimate partner violence causes physical and emotional damage no matter who is at fault. So you need to seek help because it does, it affect you. It does. Over the long term. So children and abuse. Domestic violence affects children, even if they're just witnesses. If you have children, remember that exposure to domestic violence put them at risk of developmental problems, psychiatric disorders, problems at school, aggressive behavior, and low self-esteem. So imagine you're putting even your children at risk when they're seeing what is happening to you and in that surrounding at home, that environment at home. You might worry that seeking help could further endanger you and your children, or that might lead to a family breakup. Fathers might fear that abusive partners will try to take their children away from them. However, getting help is the best way to protect your children and yourself. So sometimes you see children at school with challenging behavior. They're very aggressive. Something is happening at home. No children just lashes out and just behave out of the norm. Sometimes they're coming from domestic home violence in the where is in the home, and it does affect them. It affects their development. Today when I spoke to that man, he says one of his daughters started to do self-harm. The other one, she ran away. it does affect them, and it's not fair on them, and neither on yourself. If you're in the person and you are experiencing, it's not fair on you either. So you do really need to get help and get out of it, please. What you can do to deal with it, one of the next thing, break the cycle. Break it. Break the cycle. If you are in an abusive situation, you might recognize the pattern. Your abuser threatens violence. They strikes you and then apologizes after they hit you. You need to break it. You need to stop it. Put an end to it and says, no, you're not hitting me. Stand up. Take charge. Take charge of the situation and say enough is enough. Find the guts to do that. Find the guts to do that. You have to. You can't continue, or we can't continue. Something have to break. Something have to stop. It have to be dealt with. So sometimes, if you're stronger than the woman, you may think, oh, if you're trying to hold her, restrain her, she may think, no, you're just restraining. You might be less likely to be report domestic violence in a heterosexual relationship due to embarrassment. You might also worry that the significance of the abuse will be minimized because you're a man. Similarly, a man being abused by another man might be reluctant to talk about the problem because of how it reflects on his masculinity, or because it exposes his sexual orientation. So even if you're in that type of relationship, you still do need to report it, because abuse is abuse. You still need to talk about it. Not because you're gonna be thinking, or people gonna be thinking of your your sexual orientation. An abuser is an abuser, and you have to understand what it is. So if you seek help and say exactly what has happened there, I'm sure they will be able to assist you. You might fear that if you talk to someone about the abuse, you'll be accused of wrongdoing yourself. Remember though, if you're being abused, you aren't to blame, and there are help there. Help is available. Start by telling someone about the abuse, whether it's a friend, or a relative, healthcare provider, or a close contact. But start by opening up and try to find someone to confide in. And you might find it hard to talk about the abuse. However, you also are likely to get relief and receive much needed support. So you have to start by taking this step to open up. You have to do that. So create a safety plan. Create a safety plan wherein you can take precaution. So call a domestic violence hotline for advice. Make the call at a safe time when the abuser isn't around. So make sure that the environment and the surrounding is clear. And the abuser, so if you're living with a person, the lady, and she's at home, make sure she's not at home when you're making the calls. And speak to the domestic violence, whoever is on the line, the advisor, and just talk to them and explain to them what has happened. You do need to do it. Or from a friend's house, even you can go maybe make the calls from a friend's home, a relative, from someone that you trust, and do it in privacy. You need to do something about it, but do not accept it. Do not continue in it. You need to get out. You need to act. You need to get up. So pack an emergency bag that includes items you'll need when you leave, such as extra clothes or keys. Leave the bag in a safe place. Keep important personal papers, money and prescriptions and medications handy in case you're going to need it. In case you're going to be locked out when you're returning home, if you're cohabiting or if you're living in a marital relationship. Know exactly where you'll go and how you'll get there. The next thing is protect your communication and location. An abuser can use technology to monitor your telephone and online communication and to track your physical location. If you're concerned for your safety, seek help to maintain your privacy. So nowadays there's so much gadgets that are online, that are there, that women can use. And as I say, women are very smart. They can track you, they can hack your personal things without they even have to touch your phone. They'll spend money to do it. So you men, you have to be wise up, you have to be smart. You have to realize that if such a person is you're in a relationship with, and she's smooching around and the way she's treating you, you have to understand that yes, they can go to the extent of even doing these things as well. Use your phone cautiously. Your abuser might intercept your phone calls and listen to your conversations. He or she might use caller ID. Hey, caller ID. How many times? And that's like just easy. Anyone can use caller ID just to cut you out. You can use a different phone number. You can use get a different phone to phone you, and she can pretend to be someone else. She can change her identity. She can change her name. So listen, men, women, some of them, they're very manipulative, very domineering, and you have to know them. You have to know them because women are so clued up, and with technology now at its peak, there is so much things that you can do just by staying at indoors and watch and monitor and see and read your emails, read your email, read your all your WhatsApp messages, all your Instagram messages, all your Facebook messages, everything. You have to be a step ahead, and you have to be aware. So emotional and physical and psychological abuse could be the intimidation, withholding affection, turning your children and your friends against you, being stopped from seeing your friends or relatives. I've mentioned that earlier. They stop you from getting close to your network, the people that are close to you, your friends, your associates, your family, your children, especially if your children are from another relationship. So when you see these signs and the woman getting so jealous and all that, you have to really know that's red flag, and that's abuse. That is abuse. Constantly being insulted, belittled, keeping you awake or stopping you from sleeping. Stopping you from sleeping if you want to go and rest. So why are you going to sleep now? Why are you going to bed now? Oh, do you need all that worry? Do you need all that stress in your head? Not at all. Keeping you awake. It's excessive contact, and also seems very needy. Excessive contact, or stalking you, stalking behavior, checking up on you. Oh, you said you're gonna text me. Oh, you said you're gonna phone me. You didn't phone me. What time is it now? Please, all these signs is abuse. So if you're in a relationship, man, with a lady, and all these signs are coming up, is red flags, even in the initial stage of the relationship, the onset of the relationship, even before it gets to marriage. Be careful, because these things started subtle until they build up. And a lot of you, as I said earlier, you do not explore things when you're dating these women. You just been so carried away with her beauty, with her charm, everything. You're head over heels with her, and questions, important questions you did not ask. As I said, for those that recently joined, you don't ask questions. Have you been abused before, in your childhood growing up? Because when you're entering marriage, you need to explore the child. What kind of childhood did your wife have? Or even the men as well. Women need to ask, these questions because men can be raped. There's lots of women from the Afro-Caribbean countries being raped by their fathers, by their uncles, as I said before. So you do need to know, have these things. So you see a woman looking all nice and glam, you don't know what she's passed through. And if she doesn't get healing, doesn't get, you know, healing and getting it out and forgiving the person, forgiveness, and close that door, she will bring it into her adulthood and into the marriage, into the relationship, and that will end up she not abusing you. Or even if she's seen her parents being abused, her mom, you know, her dad or her mom abusing her dad, or vice versa, it does affect. So you do need to know. The next one is power and control. Abusers believe they have the right to control their partners. Are you in a relationship, man, wherein your wife seems to control you, you think she owns you? No, you shouldn't be feeling like, you know, or even if you're not married, if you're courting or dating, no one should control anyone. So if you think you're feeling like that, it is a sign, or something is saying, oh, why she's, you know, something is wrong. No one should control anyone at all. Telling them what to do and expecting obedience, so she tells you what to do. Oh, get home at this time, ring me this time, do this, do that. Oh, go and cook me a meal. Oh, what is that? Are you a child? Are you now a child? That is not right at all. Using force to maintain control over you. Not accepting responsibility for the abuse. Constantly saying it's not their fault. Always blaming you for her behavior. Continually and purposeful breach of family court orders. Forced marriage. So those things will force marriage. So sometimes, you know, it goes from the woman's point of view or from the men's point of view, forced marriage. So be careful of that. If someone's trying to force you to marry them and you're not ready yet, because marriage is a serious thing. You can't just push, you know, or let someone rush you to do that. Very important that you know. Next thing, as I mentioned earlier, financial abuse, totally controlling the family income and your expenditure and what is you're earning and everything. Be careful. A woman shouldn't be controlling her partner's money at all, and you shouldn't allow a woman to do that. Come on, you should not. So if a woman seems to want to be in control, come on, why are you settling for her? Why are you still in that relationship? Why you don't seek help? If you, as I say, if you're married, then you need to seek help. Honestly, that is not right. That is a form of domestic violence and abuse. Yes. Making account for every pound you spend, running up huge bills as well. You know, those women always like to go shopping, want to do their nails, want to do their hair, want to go shopping, want to look nice. Nothing is wrong in giving her allowance, want her, you know, to spend on herself to look nice. But always, 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 red flag. Red flag. Purposely defaulting on payments. Defaulting on payments, then you have to pick it up. You have to pay the bills, the credit card bills or whatever bills. Be careful. Be careful. You need someone who are responsible adults. Not carefree and airheaded women. So when that is happening, then you have to realize, no, red flag, close it, shut it, that's it. If it's not yet gone to marital state, then I would say to you, my brothers, you know, my listeners, or you men out there, it's really important that you consider, is she the right one for you? Because you don't need someone to be manipulating, controlling, domineering you like that at all. No. I'm making you feel uneasy or uncomfortable, making you think like, oh, she's Miss Goody Two Shoe. No, not at all. You she should feel at ease even when you're around her. Be comfortable. So why is it because you're so taken by you with her beauty? Oh, come on. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Okay? And with her charm, women are very good in doing that. In the Bible, can you remember the story about Delilah and Samson? Come on. So don't be fooled by a woman outside appearances. What's inside here, not what's out there, but what is in here, who she really is. True beauty is inner beauty. That's what I always say. True beauty is inner beauty, not outside appearance at all. Because the person can look so beautiful outside and oh my god, is a witch inside or evil inside. So be careful, don't be carried away. Next one is sexual abuse. I mentioned sexual harassing you for sex, forcing sexual after physical assault, sexual degrading you, rape you. Yes, there are women that can do that. So all these things that she's doing to you, you need to look into it. You need to really consider it and call it what it is. The other one is false allegations. Telling the police that you're the one committing all these things. Telling friends, telling families, you know, spreading propaganda on you, telling lies. Why do you allow it? Always belittling you, making you less of a man. Red flag. Time to do something about it. 10. Being stalked. Being stalked, yes. The woman that stalk men, always phoning up. And if he's going somewhere, by the time he gets to the place, she's already there. She drives in his car. She's even take a cab in there. Where are these signals? And she said, oh, I love you so much. No. Love is not like that. That's what kind of love is that? No. Stalkers will often use multiple and different methods of stalking their victims. Always. Stalking can consist of any type of behavior such as following you to work and from work, checking your mail and your phones, things that I've mentioned before, regular sending you gifts. So again, beware of these things. So women coming on you so forcefully, buying you things, all these expensive things. They have an intention behind that. Making unwanted or malicious communication to you, damaging your property or your clothes, physical or sexual assault. Have you ever had women, or no friends of women damaging especially their cars, throwing paint on their car, smashing the windshield, smashing the the car, cutting the tires, all that childish behavior, that thing, come on, looting. The next one is digital and social abuse. Often this can be with former partners stalking you, placing false and malicious information about you on your or other social media. So with social media now is such a trend, they say things about you. You have to be aware, having no control on your content or not allowed to have access. I know for a woman, she knows getting to her boyfriend's or her husband's Facebook, and she posts up all these things, and she went into it, and then she go in and befriend most of his female friends. And there was a woman, he was in UK here, and there was a lady he was talking to in America. And she rang the woman. How deep, how far can you go? How belittling. And this woman rang the other woman. Yes, their women will go out. Stalker and abusive, domestic violence these are. Yes, those things happen. So be careful when these are happening to you. You need to do something about it. So now we have discussed the types of domestic abuse. Let us now discuss the signs already. Domestic violence against men. So I've done that as well. So with all of that done and said, I do hope that you do understand when these signs and these things are happening to you. So if you're in a marriage, or if you're in a relationship, or you're dating someone, when these things are happening to you, you have to recognize it. Or when a girl is coming too much on you like that, controlling, manipulative, too much on you, checking your phone, checking up on your whereabouts, not having any trust. All these things, you have to really realize, what is it leading up to? Maybe there is an underlying problem. Maybe the person have a problem. Maybe she have a trust issue. Maybe she's been abused. And normally an abused person always abuse another person. And as I said, in the Afro-Caribbean community, most times a lot of these women have been abused. And when it has been abused, when they have been abused, especially from a young age, and it has not been dealt with, then it carries on into adulthood. And this is what we see today, even in marriages, when you're thinking the man hitting the woman beating the man. Come on. It's underlying, and it's underlying. It caused it from somewhere way back. It didn't just happen. And for you who just coming on, one of my guest had said, viewer had said, it is underlying, it is deep rooted. When it's deep rooted, is from a child. It's a child issue. It happens when they were young that these things happen, and they did nothing was done to it. It could also be that they were in an abusive home themselves with their parents, or they could be being abused growing up in their home by a relative, by a friend, by a neighbor. So when you're going in a relationship or relationships, you need to find out things before you go in, because the next thing you go in and live with the person, you realize that the person is an abuser. And how unhealthy this is for you, and how you're going to get out when, especially if you're married. And even now, if you're married, you need to get help. You need to get help. You need to get proper help about to solve these situations. And how you do that is by contacting emergency line, contacting the domestic helplines, and someone will be happy to help you. Definitely you have to move yourself away from this. So to conclude, domestic violence against men have devastating effects. It does. Although you may not be able to stop your partner's abusive behavior, you can seek help yourself. So if it's you gentlemen out there and your partner, the woman, you're not able to stop it, you can seek help for yourself. You owe it to yourself. Remember, no one deserves to be abused. You are scared of not being a man. Sadly, our society still tell boys and men that they need to be man or grow up. But how can you man up or grow up? You have to man up and grow up, and you take charge of a situation, take control of that situation. That's when you man up or you grow up. But don't continue to pretend and to be happy to be in something. So get some balls. That's what they said. So you have to take charge of that situation. So it does not make you a weak person. In fact, the reality is that it takes great strength to stay in a controlling environment or relationship. So you have to man up, be that strong man, and seek advice, seek help, and get out of it, or you seek help for yourself. And the help that you can get, as I'm going to be closing now, is in an emergency, you call 911. So you can call 911 So it's not just for police. So when you call 911, they will say, is it police or emergency? You say whatever emergency it is, what is happening, or your local emergency number or law enforcement agency. The following resources can also help you. So someone you trust you can speak to. Turn to a friend, a relative, a neighbor, your co-worker, or a religious or spiritual advisor for support, like a pastor or a minister. So the National Domestic Violence Hotline is 0800 799 SAFE. So it's 0800 799 or 7233. I repeat, 0800 799 7233. The hotline provides crisis intervention and referrals to resources that will assist you. Your healthcare provider as well, so you can talk to your doctor about it, and your doctor will refer you, will make referrals and treat any injuries and help with local resources. Also, a counseling or mental health center. So you can, look up for counselors or mental health center that deal with these issues, and support groups for people in abusive relationships are available in most communities. So you can go online and search it up, and you can get information. Or you can go to a local court. Your district court can help you obtain a restraining order that legally mandates the abuser to stay away from you or face arrest. Local advocates may be available to help guide you through the process. So all these you can get, you can go to and get help from. So with that, I'm closing today on the talk of domestic violence on men, and I really hope that you've garnered something, you've got something from that. And if you are the person, you're that man, or if you know someone who, even a woman as well, even though today the show was domestic violence against men, but if you know a lady as well who is in that situation, please, reach out, help, forward this show to them or the podcast, and let they, get help, because we want people's lives to be safe, to be happy, to have meaningful and happy relationships, not to be in abusive relationships at all, because life is too short and we need to have a happy life so we can live longer. So with that, I am closing, and also I want to say thanks again for everyone who has joined. Hi Prophet Fitzgerald Johnson, thank you so much. And hi Trevor Lee, thank you for joining. Hi Pat, thank you also for joining in. Thank you so much. So thank you everyone, and I hope you have a good rest of the week. Take care for now, and I'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. While the others keep on talking, we keep on Thanks for listening.
This is Starr Radio.
You can get us on our WhatsApp number at 0044
Thanks for listening.
1744.
Are you looking for a job as a general nurse, theater nurse, ODPS, community nurse, healthcare assistant, mental health nurses, midwives, sterile services, domiciliary services? Then look no further. Bright Stars Plus Healthcare Agency have vacancies with good pay rates in London, Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire, Cambridge, South England, West Midlands, Sussex, and North of England. To apply, visit www.brightstarplus.com, or you can call us on 073 890 64632. The number again, 073 890 64632, or email info@brightstarplus.com. Bright Star Plus, the best in recruitment agency.
The Prasad's Automotive provides affordable, high-quality after-sales service to Bentley and crew-built Rolls-Royce cars. charging only 60% of main dealer labour rates. We offer health checks, servicing, diagnostics, air conditioning servicing, four-wheel alignment, pre-purchase inspections, brake repairs, engine removal repairs, and dent repairs. We're a team of highly skilled engineers. David Prasad was employed at Jack Barclay for over 27 years. At the Prasad's Automotive, we have the knowledge, experience and facilities that equip us to deliver excellence and quality to our clients at a personal level.
Do you feel left out in your education or career but still want to do something about it? Then don't fret. If you are a resident in the UK, British or EU citizen, then there is hope for you. You are in the age bracket of 21 to 55. The UK government is offering grants, scholarships and financial support for first degree to masters in various courses. The government will pay all your fees and you can educate yourself in a peace of mind. From £21,000 per year for first degree, etc. Get in touch with GEM Educational Consultancy and we will guide you in